As modern technology continues to bring vast improvements for the present and the future, it also allows us to delve into the past and discover many things we couldn't have possibly known in our Earth's history. Be it through researching, experimenting, theorizing, hypothesizing, confirming, debunking, rebuilding, deconstructing, or even accidentally finding conclusions in history's long unanswered questions, they are all possible through this. Sir William Jones is one of those people who discovered something under the right conditions. Being a British judge who lived in India in 1786, he was the first to suggest the idea that there may be a common source of languages. This can be proved with three languages being similar to each other: Latin, Greek, and Sanskrit, which are the oldest preserved languages in the world. He found their parallels in vocabulary and grammar, with Sanskrit in particular being found while studying the Vedas, one of the earliest and oldest Hindu scriptures to ever exist. Examples of parallels would include Trace in Latin, Trace in Greek, and Trias in Sanskrit, all of which have the same meaning: the number or quantity of three. Here, 18th century European scholars began to understand that their language families were related to each other, including ancient Persia and India. And this hypothesis not only became the start to the science of historical linguistics, but also the beginning to the study of the Indo-European culture and civilization. Now, to avoid some confusion, scholars have coined the term Indo-European, which refers to the people and their culture, and Proto-Indo-European, which refers to the mother tongue or the original language of most modern languages today. To start things off, the Indo-Europeans originated in the plains of Eastern Europe, north of the Black Sea and Caspian Sea, situated in present-day Ukraine and southern Russia, and are descendants of the Yamnaya culture. They were mainly pastoral agriculturalists or farmers who lived during the Neolithic period or the New Stone Age. However, historians were divided upon an explanation as to how languages from this specific group managed to spread to other areas of the world. It wasn't until the early 20th century that the Kurgan hypothesis managed to gain acceptance and understanding to support this claim, which states that Indo-Europeans migrated from their homelands and settled into new territories towards the east and west, which included Persia, northern India, and all of Europe. This hypothesis got their name from the word Kurgan in Russian, meaning funeral mounds, following the Yamnaya culture or pit grave culture who buried their leaders in funeral mounds. There is historical evidence suggesting that the Indo-Europeans' way of migrating was through the domestication of horses, which began around 5000 BC, drastically changing the way they traveled. Later, at around 3500 BC, this method of transportation improved, ushering the invention of the wagon. Due to this change in development, some farmers changed to nomad status while others stayed farming. You either farmed or you nomaded, roaming across the steppes with their flocks of cattle, sheep, or goat. There were two groups who branched off from this culture, one being the Afanasivo culture, who moved to the east with shepherds, possibly in the search for fields in Siberia, while also moving west in what would be modern-day China. The other group would be a culture closely related to the Makop culture. They moved to the south around the Caucasus Mountains, living there for a while before moving to Anatolia. Some interesting facts between the two is that the Afanasivo culture found in modern-day China later converted to Buddhism after living in the East, which helped us learn more about them after understanding the ancient Buddhist texts found in Western China, whose language greatly resembles those of the Tocharians, both A and B. Meanwhile, the other culture left their homeland way before the invention of the wheel and the wagon, as the languages that have derived from this culture did not share similar words that would have the same meaning as wagon, wheel, nave, axle, and etc. This culture's movement in Anatolia was documented in cuneiform texts found at Kultip or at ancient Canes. As recently as 2015, which is crazily enough about 8 years ago, the Kurgan hypothesis has been revived due to researches from the Universitat Autónoma de Barcelona, discovering that Indo-European men share a Y DNA haplogroup called R1a, which can be found in Western Europe, Ukraine, Southern Russia, Uzbekistan, Iran, and among the priestly caste on the Indian subcontinent. As for specific Western Europeans, the haplogroup R1b is found within them. This finding shows that most people groups have genetic connections with the Yamnaya people of Eastern Europe. This can also show that most of our modern language today have been influenced by this source of Proto-Indo-European knowledge, not just genetically, but linguistically. Let's not forget the multitude of family branches that have evolved since then and were stemmed from this particular origin point. The Indo-European family is divided into several branches with 8 groups of languages still surviving today: Albanian, Armenian, Balto-Slavic, Celtic, Germanic, Hellenic, Indo-Iranian, and Italic. The Italic languages that are well known today include Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian. There are also extinct or near extinct languages that either never managed to make it into the modern age or have been found through only a number of small speakers or small text, which can include Sardinian, Galician, Gothic, Gaulish, Ancient Greek, or even Hittite and Tocharian. But despite the widely accepted ideas of the language family trees and world-changing and intriguing findings, some historians can get puzzled by certain pieces of information or even get into disagreements with each other regarding contradicting figures or events that may have happened or may purely be mythological. Hopefully, with technological advancements and the answers that can be provided with continuous studies and research, this can be proven in the near future. However, what matters the most is that even the smallest bit of discoveries can help our knowledge of the ancient world and how they communicated, as well as giving us an introspective look towards our world's common language, English, and how it has been adopted and developed by many. My name is Kathleen Zyra Leopen, and that's the end of my video. Thanks for watching.